Today, another great Numberwang as, quote, employment weakens, unquote. Hello again, it's Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics with this post covering finance and property news with a distinctively Australian flavour. Well, to be honest, I had to laugh when I saw the comments after the ABS released the employment data today. The ABC, for example, said unemployment is steady at 3.5% after November's jobless rate was revised higher and on the back of an estimated 14,600 jobs being lost last month. The decline in employed Australians might have pushed the jobless rate higher, but for a fall in the proportion of people in work or looking for it, according to the ABS. But actually the big elephant in the room is the sample rotation yet again, just as happened several times last year, when a stronger labour force sample was rotated out while a weaker one came in. In other words, the variations are driven by the ABS methodology, not changes in the underlying data. Anyhow, the ABS said that the seasonally adjusted unemployment rate remained at 3.5% in December, in line with the updated figure for November. And the ABS said with employment decreasing by around 15,000 people and the number of unemployed increasing by 6,000 people, the unemployment rate remained steady at 3.5%. The seasonally adjusted participation rate fell 0.2 percentage points to 66.6% in December, back to around where it was in October. Despite this slight fall from its historic high, it finished the year 0.8% points higher than its pre-pandemic level. Seasonally adjusted employment decreased by 15,000 people, or 0.1% in December, following an increase of 58,000 people in November, and average monthly growth of around 40,000 people between August and November 2022. The employment to population ratio also decreased down 0.2% to 64.3%. In historic terms, it continues to remain elevated 1.9 percentage points above the pre-pandemic level. Seasonally adjusted monthly hours worked decreased by 0.5% for the second consecutive month, following the peak in October. The falls in employment and hours worked in December followed strong growth through 2022, with an annual employment growth rate of 3.4% and hours worked increasing by 3.2%. The strong employment growth through 2022, along with high participation and low unemployment, continues to reflect a tight labour market, the ABS said. Even though hours worked grew during 2022, there continued to be more people than usual working reduced hours due to illness. In December, we saw the number of people working reduced hours due to illness increase by 86,000 to 606,000, which is over 50% higher than we would usually see at this time of year, they said. The seasonally adjusted underemployment rate rose 0.2 percentage points to 6.1%, 2.7 percentage points below the pre-pandemic rate. And the underutilization rate, which combines the unemployment and underemployment rates, rose 0.3 percentage points to 9.6% in seasonally adjusted terms, and that was 4.4 percentage points below March 2020. Trend employment increased by 27,000 people, that's 0.2% in December, and trend monthly hours worked increased 0.3%. These reflected a continuation of the pace of underlying growth in employment and hours worked seen during much of 2022. The monthly trend employment increase of 0.19% in December was slightly above the average rate that we've seen in the 20 years before the pandemic of around 0.16% per month. The growth rate in December was around half what it was for the first half of 2022, an average of 0.37% per month, and also slightly below the average for the second half of 2022 when it was 0.21%. This shows the strong employment growth has moderated through the year, but was still above the long-term average, they said. The trend unemployment rate remained steady at 3.5%, and the underemployment rate remained steady at 6%, and the trend participation rate remained steady at 66.7%. Now, in comparison, Roy Morgan, who uses a different definition of unemployed, reported their employment data and said that Australian employment decreased by 12,000 to 13.56 million in December. The decrease was driven by a drop in full-time employment, down 97,000 to 8.77 million, although part-time employment increased in line with the usual seasonal trends, up by 85,000 to 4.79 million. 1.38 million Australians were unemployed, which is 9.3% of the workforce in December. That's an increase of 46,000 from November, with more people looking for full-time work, up 89,000 to 595,000, although there were fewer people looking for part-time work, down 43,000 to 789,000. The workforce in December was 14.95 million, up 34,000 from November, and comprised of 13.56 million employed Australians, down 12,000, and 1.38 million unemployed Australians looking for work, up 46,000. In addition to the unemployed, 1.36 million Australians, 9.1% of the workforce, was down 0.1 percentage points, were underemployed, working part-time but looking for more work, and that's down 16,000 from November. And Roy Morgan estimates over 2.7 million Australians, or nearly 20% of the available workforce, were either unemployed or underemployed in December, which, by the way, begs the question, why on earth do we continue to import so many workers from overseas? They attributed the variations mainly to seasonal factors, saying all in all, seasonal factors were the main drivers of the employment market in December, as Australians enjoyed a COVID restriction-free Christmas for the first time in 3 years, and retail spending in the pre-Christmas period hit new record highs. So, standing back, together, if you take into account the ABS sample switch, seasonal factors around the recent holidays, and the higher rates of illness, combined, this creates one large Numberwang. Why do so many in the mainstream media not cover those critical points? Before pontificating, I ask. Well, I've no answer, but these are important factors to bear in mind when you make an assessment of the data that's being produced. I'm Martin North from Digital Finance Analytics. Many thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.